had already thought that one day I would take command of my life and start a business of some sort. I didn't know exactly what type. But in 2007, I struggled through the real estate self-paced class, and that forced me to actually do some studying that I hadn't done since college. But when I finally sat down and read the actual Georgia real estate law, the actual code, everything made sense. So I took the course final twice, but I took the state exam once. And really, by actually understanding the law in terms of what brokers can, should, and cannot do, it became a lot easier. After that, I latched on to a broker that would help me as a part-timer. Well, first, there was one broker that I worked for, a prominent name, but I talked to the broker and I said, hey, do you help part-timers? That's a big thing. Some people do the part-time thing, some people do the full-time thing, and I've done both. But I asked the guy, are you going to help train me on how real estate works? And after several months and the waste of $400, I kind of went down and said, hey, you said you're going to show me what's going on. And the times I've come and met with you, we talk. He said, you don't teach real estate, you do real estate. Now, I don't know, to this day, I don't know what that means. That was in 2007. And just while taking a class, and I'll say his name, the instructor name was Judge Parker. He still teaches in the area. He said, hey, you need to go to a place called Metro Brokers Real Estate. It was owned by GMAC at the time, GMAC Financing. Now it's owned by Better Homes and Gardens. But he said they have an excellent program for part-timers. And with nothing else to lose but more money, I switched to them. And man, for about 4 months on the weekend, long Saturdays and Sundays. But they poured everything into us to help us understand the basics of real estate. We learned what the business was about. And it had nothing to do with that exam, as difficult as I found it or made it for myself. But I was there for several years to kind of cut my teeth at this business. And then I wanted to be more independent. So I moved to another broker briefly, but it was a little far from my house. And I finally settled in with Maximum One Realty Partners. And that's where I am today in McDonough, Georgia. And that's pretty much where I think I will be for the duration of my career, unless, and that's a big unless, I start my own brokerage, which I don't know when that may be. But for now, I'm totally happy with what's going on in Maximum One. But if I want to do a little boutique brokerage, that's the only way I think I would leave at this point. But let's be honest. When I started in 2007, a few years later, the market absolutely imploded upon itself. Record numbers, biggest downturn in several decades, and that was the beginning of my career. I guess I caught lightning in a bottle because at the same time, the government had decided to close Fort Gilliam and Fort McPherson. And while I was in the neighborhood doing what I was supposed to do as a realtor and just a good neighbor, I was talking to a neighbor at the bus stop. And they told me about this program because the husband was in the military, wife was doing the greatest job in the world, taking care of the kids. And she said, there's a program you ought to know about since you're a realtor, because we're about to use it to sell our house. Maybe you can represent us. I said, do tell. Well, the program is like this. The market was crazy. People were upside down. The property I'm in right now is the same property I was in then. We were down 30 to 40% at times. But when you're in the military, and it's time for the military to deploy to Iraq at the time or Afghanistan, they don't have time for the market. So what the program would do is if you were upside down, 90,000, it didn't even matter. The government and the great taxpayers of this country, they paid off that residual balance so that the military members active duty people, they were able to move at will. And that really sustained my family and my career, to be honest, because it was really bad. There were very few people trying to buy homes that I could really help because I didn't have a knowledge. But that made me kind of a subject matter expert for a while. And I was doing closings from Fulton County, just all over the place, wherever I could find business. That one person would refer me to another. Only problem with that is that all of my clients were leaving town. They would refer me, and but it went on for a couple of years, and that sustained us for a long time. But eventually, I thought the market was still down, and I needed to expand my business. A lot of people get into, they do mortgages, they do real estate appraisal, which is something I strongly considered. But I did have a network, back in Alabama, and I thought that I would expand into life insurance because, one, I thought I could really help with people with their budget and help to protect their goals and dreams, as well as help them meet their dreams of home ownership. It's one of the most critical things that a family may consider is what kind of life insurance are we going to use to protect our family's goals and dreams. So now, since about 2014, I've been licensed as a life insurance agent, and I'm able to help my clients whether they buy a home or not. And I'm able to help people outside of the state of Georgia as well, because I'm licensed in Alabama as well as Georgia.